All right, let's dive into something that impacts every single one of us online, our digital identity. It's really become a battleground of ideas, a major clash over who gets to hold the keys to our digital lives.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. Every time you log into a service, sign up for something new, or even just try to prove your age, you run into this huge problem. We have to prove we are who we say we are, but doing that usually means just handing over a ton of personal data. It's the great identity paradox of our digital age.
So, to solve this paradox, two really different philosophies have popped up, and they could not be more different from each other. In one corner, you've got the official, state-sponsored way of doing things, and in the other, a brand new challenger, built from the ground up to put the user in charge.
Okay, so first up is the EUDI, which stands for the European Digital Identity Wallet. You can think of this as the institutional standard. It's built on the EU's eIDAS regulation, which is basically the legal rulebook for electronic IDs. The big plus here is legal certainty, right? It's a government-issued digital ID, so it's designed to be officially recognized everywhere in Europe for all the important stuff like filing your taxes, opening a bank account, or even holding a digital driver's license.
And then we have the challenger, Linkspreed's UID. This is a whole different ballgame. It's built on a decentralized architecture, part of what people are starting to call Web 4, the next step in a user-focused internet. The entire system revolves around this idea called self-sovereign identity, which basically means you and only you are in control.
So, there we have it, the government-backed heavyweight versus the nimble, user-empowered challenger. Let's put them side by side and really dig into how they stack up.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this chart shows you the core DNA of each system. You can see UDI is founded on government rules, and control is centralized with the individual countries. Its approach to privacy is based on a legal promise to minimize data. UIID, on the other hand, is built on decentralized tech, which gives you self-sovereign control. And for privacy, it doesn't rely on a legal promise, it relies on the mathematical certainty of something called zero-knowledge proofs. And we're definitely going to talk more about that in a minute.
So if you boil it all down, the crucial difference is this. With UDI, your trust is fundamentally in government institutions to manage your identity, an identity that's directly tied to your entire digital footprint. With UIID, your trust is in the math, in the cryptography itself. Your real identity is specifically designed to stay hidden, while your right to access something gets verified.
And this massive difference in philosophy leads to a huge advantage for the user when it comes to privacy and control. So let's take a look at how UID's architecture actually makes this happen. UIID uses something called a decoupled architecture, and it's actually brilliantly simple. First, you get your main real-world identity verified, but you only do it once. But, and this is the absolute game changer, that core ID is never used for your day-to-day online activities. Instead, you create totally unique, anonymous sub-IDs for everything you do. You might have one for gaming, another for shopping, a different one for work. This way you can browse and interact everywhere without ever showing anyone who you really are.
So why is this so important? Well, because this system of separate, siloed sub-IDs completely breaks the business model of online tracking. If you're using a different sub-ID for every service, data brokers and the tech giants just can't connect the dots. They can't build that one giant, creepy profile of you that follows you all over the internet.
This whole approach is really held up by four main pillars. It's anti-fragile, because there's no single central server for hackers to attack. It gives you true anonymity, acting more like a digital shield than just a digital ID card. It's cross-border by its very nature, built for a global internet, and maybe most importantly, it guarantees user ownership. You hold the cryptographic keys. No company, no government can just flip a switch and turn off your identity.
And this right here perfectly explains the magic behind that privacy tech we mentioned before, zero-knowledge proofs. Just imagine you want to prove you're old enough to get into a bar. Instead of showing the bouncer your driver's license with your name, your address, your exact birthday on it, you just give them a mathematically proven yes. You prove the fact you need to prove without revealing any of the extra data. That's the power of a system like this.
So, does this have to be a winner-take-all battle? Maybe not. The most interesting future might actually be one where these two systems don't just compete, but they actually work together.
Yeah, as our source material says, UID could actually serve as a kind of upgrade for the EUDI. You could use your official, government-backed EUDI as the secure foundation to set up your UID. That way, you'd get the legal recognition of the state, but with all the privacy, control, and flexibility of a self-sovereign system layered right on top.
And that leaves us with this one big,
final question. As our lives become more and more digital, we all have to think about what kind of future we want. Who do you want to be the ultimate guardian of your digital self? The institutions of the state or you? It's a question we're all going to be answering, one login at a time. Thanks so much for tuning in for this explainer.